You're watching Around the Base Sports. Make sure to like and subscribe. Enjoy the show. Here are your.
I'm Jack.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Amon, and this is
Around
The Bay.
Thanks for tuning in. Another episode Around the Base Sports here on this our evening weekday here on Thursdays. And as you can see, Jesse's not with us. Apparently, school has kept him out. So let's get to it, folks. So actually, a new thing. So as you know, our stream is brought to you by StreamYard, and they added some things that helps us out and helps for the viewers watching this later. If you guys want to find a quicker way to get it to our YouTube account, I tested myself. Scan this QR code and it'll take us straight to our YouTube account, as well as our Instagram. Scan that as well, and it'll take you to Instagram. But let us know if you have any complications. So a lot of new things they've added here, and add some polls. So if we have any questions we want to ask, we can share it. We can show it on top of the screen. All you have to do is type just kind of like number 1 or number 2, yes or no, or depending on whatever question now we want it to be answered. So I just thought to share that because that is something that's really awesome. But let's further ado. There's only one thing we're going to discuss, and that is the NCAA tournament, both men's and women's, has finished. And the Big Ten just swept it. UCLA, we know, like, just not just basketball, just like we can go to football. Indiana wins the national title in football. You got UCLA, sure, they're not really Big Ten, but they joined the Big Ten, so they are the Big Ten. And then a huge win from dynasties to, you could say, droughts. Michigan winning over UConn. And I know Jack, he was messaging us in our group chat, and he has something to say, but we might take it from there, or we'll get there.
We'll keep it later. We'll keep it later.
Yeah.
But let's just go with the women's, because we know UConn was the dominant team. I mean, they're like, I don't know, you can try to compare it to at least an NBA team in that sort of way, but we thought they were dominant, but for some reason they didn't play like that, and they get absolutely smoked by South Carolina. So who saw that coming? Because I know those two coaches, it's like a nice rival in college, you could say, between, if you know, the UConn and the South Carolina coach. And there's some stuff that occurred, and it's like some speculative, but let's just do a breakdown of just the game entirely. So what are you guys' thoughts if you saw it or realizing about the score and all that? So yeah, Drew, take it.
Before I say what I say about the game, I told him on when Selection Sunday came out, that Sunday they came out, I told him that South Carolina is going to be that team that's going to be UConn. And guess what? It happened. So I guess I know ball, and shout out to the 45%ers that vote for UConn. So, but speaking of the game, it was a tight game. Really gritty defensive game, throughout the whole first half, and then third quarter, South Carolina kind of went on a run towards the end of the third quarter, and then obviously, after that, South Carolina just kind of took over and then not let UConn get in a rhythm. So, but you know what? Shout out South Carolina, but who would have thought that South Carolina would be the team that beat UConn? Yeah, I get it. They lost. South Carolina lost to UConn last year, national championship game. So they kind of have that reminder, and obviously they knew they're undefeated towards the game, so they kind of knew that it was kind of them against the world type of situation. But you know what? They pulled it off, and You know, honestly, there was a altercation after the game, but we can. I mean, that's not really a big thing, but things got heated throughout the whole game, and then glad it had been taken care of. So that's my thoughts about the game.
Yeah, responding to pretty much how this game was. I don't really know where I'm on one, but this game, I'm definitely gonna say I'm sorry to South Carolina because I had UConn winning, and I said I don't give a damn who they're playing against, and next you know, South Carolina managed to impress me. Though I'm looking at this game, like I'm looking at the stat sheet rounded. I don't know if South Carolina paid the refs to tank that game, but man, I'm looking at it, and that is honestly, that should honestly be looked at after this because the South Carolina they were called for 8 fouls, meanwhile UConn was called for 17 fouls. The thing is though, South Carolina only made 2 threes the entire game, 2 threes. That's it, 2 of 6 to be specific, and it's just the only thing is like I usually have this saying: whoever usually performs like the best at rebounding is always going to win the game. And South Carolina out rebounded UConn by 15, so that should tell you that. But I mean, I'm looking at the stats here. So South Carolina made 21 shots, 56, so 38%. You know, the Huskies shot 31%, but they made 19 shots. So you think with those kind of numbers,
how many attempts?
It would be a close game, 19 out of 61, so 31%. So you'll be like, hold on, with those shot numbers, it should have been closer than what the scoreboard says because South Carolina won that game by like 14 points. And UConn was missing key shots. I didn't notice that in the highlights when I watched them. So again, if they weren't getting the shots in at all, then there was no way they're going to win that game. But then here's where then here's the head. Here's where people's heads start to tilt a little bit. Like, huh? So, and this is where I say the ref part. UConn went to the line. Let's see. UConn only made 4 free throws out of 6. How many did South Carolina have? 18 out of 22 free throws. 18 out of 22. You minus that by like 14, and UConn wins the damn game. The refs kind of gave South Carolina this game. I watched the foul calling. I'm not sure which the foul calling was worse for the men's or women's. But I mean, this wasn't even this was probably the championship game. Like if there should have been one, it should have been this. Well, congratulations to UCLA winning. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm disappointed in UConn. I had UConn winning. I didn't give a damn who they're playing against, like I mentioned, but you win over 50 games and you can't get it done when it's like when you need to. And honestly, I think the refs were wearing Gamecock gear under their uniforms because 18 of 22 was 4 of 6 for free throw attempts is crazy. And the foul difference, there was like 9. UConn was called for 9 more. Let's see,
9 more than South Carolina.
Than South Carolina. So I mean, congrats to South Carolina winning that game. Obviously, I didn't want them to win the championship, but UConn should have won that game, and the refs need to be investigated.
Okay, I mean, sure. Seeing that score, it could be there's some speculation. Then I just feel like when you hear the UConn coach, it feels like the whole you could the refs could be part of it, but then it feels like with that, that might cause them to lose. I mean, sure, miss key shots as well, but it almost feels like it seemed like the coach was so focused on the play calling. It's like it's almost as if like that was it. Like it seemed like he couldn't get the team back. Even though there was a ripped jersey. I've heard some people speculate on that, thinking like the player South Carolina ripped it, but some people speculate it was already ripped during an intermission or something, like she did herself. But who knows what's the truth and all that? But I mean, sure. Do we expect it should be closer because these two teams have been at it? Yeah, of course. But seeing how that turned out, um, seeing how that turned out, I don't know. That's what it is. I mean, we've seen games that when when refs take too much control, or at least try to call a lot more fouls on the other side. We've seen that a lot. It's just common nowadays in sports. So yeah, you could say that. There's a lot of things involved in that, but I don't know if you guys want to talk about the little dispute with the South Carolina coach and the UConn coach, because within just about when the game was practically over, they were about to shake hands, but then there was some mouthing, and it was like he was really mad, as almost mad at her of losing, I guess, as how for me to interpret it. I don't know what you guys' thoughts on. I don't know if you saw or heard about that old dispute. I mean, things were cleared at the end, but I just thought, do you have any thoughts on that? If you saw clips of it,
I mean, all I just saw was like the UConn coach was like mad. I've never really seen him do that, and like I've been watching UConn like women's basketball for a while, but it's kind of uncharacteristic of him to do that. He claimed he was. Let's see, there was like some article that came out that he was like claiming about her, about the UConn women, South Carolina women's thing.
so for people that are tuning in, if you with your phone, if you copy this QR code, it'll take us to our YouTube link, and this one to our Instagram. So I'll give you guys time if you want. If you're new subscriber, or new follower, or new person viewing this, just here's this QR code for these links. But Drew, what's your thoughts as Jack kind of gathers some information about that?
So, I guess to my knowledge, you asked about the ripped jersey. By the way, she actually ripped the jersey in between quarters, so she did it herself. No South Carolina did it or anything, She did it herself. And then in terms of altercation, I think one reason he was got an altercation because I think usually before game they shake hands. I guess he didn't like how she shook his hand properly, so that's probably why. That's probably why he led to the altercation. So yeah, like Jack said, I think it was pretty uncharacteristic and unprofessional way. In terms of sportsmanship, like I mean, we all love the game. We all don't like losing or anything, but like at least have some sportsmanship like throughout the process. I mean, like I'm glad Dane got settled down between those two coaches, but but it could have. I mean, it could have been worse, honestly. But the fact he didn't shake South Carolina team, so it just. I mean, it just shows that But like I said, I'm glad that they got settled out, and there's no beef between those two coaches. So.
All right.
Yeah, apparently, the South Carolina women's like team has been like receiving in past term, like receiving like in past like situations, like being accusations of being like a dirty team. So this kind of stuff is nothing really new for them. I mean, I don't know who UConn women's is playing like next season for basketball. And I don't know if they would get the chance to play South Carolina, but if they would, I would send a message on the first play. But
I'm sure they're gonna play each other next season.
Yeah, because if they do, I'll actually like watch that. But I mean, I'm not a fan of dirty teams. I've watched basketball many years. I've even played against like dirty teams, and it usually doesn't end well for them. For example, like South Carolina women's, they lost to UCLA. UCLA was the better team. And I mean, I'm not saying like South Carolina is like always going to be like a dirty team. I mean, they're like a good team. They're aggressive and all that, which is like good for basketball. But I don't know. I find it interesting on like how like people find them like dirty and being accused of like having dirty players and all that stuff. I just find it interesting.
I mean, Dawn Sanders is a good coach, so I don't know.
Yeah, she's. I'm not saying she's like a bad coach, but it's. I don't know. It's just like in Gina. I'm hearing both. I'm hearing both sides of the story. Like she's not really talking about much, but she's saying that she'll beat the coach's ass.
Yeah, there's that.
Pretty ghetto of her to do that, and then like the coach saying like their team is beating the crap out of us. Like I watched the highlights, and the refs were being way too kind to South Carolina in the game entirely, with the amount of fouls that there were. That should have been called.
Yeah, it's speculative.
Like at some point, I'm gonna like I don't know if there's a way I can like watch the full game, but if I get a chance to watch like the whole game, then I will literally text you guys the amount of fouls that South Carolina should have been called for.
Okay.
I'm sure there's gonna be. I'm sure March Madness themselves are gonna post a whole full game. So, like they count March Madness.
But I mean, like that was bad. But the men's basketball championship, oh my God.
We'll get
there. We'll get
the
there.
other side. So UCLA, we went to Drew and I. If you've seen our Instagram, we went to the game, took on Duke. It was exciting until the very end. UCLA pulled away, but then they took on
Texas,
and I thought that was going to be a challenge. And I guess for Texas, I want to say that they try to cut it close, but I think there was just so much excitement with that team that kind of like they played great, but it's almost like the moment it was in Texas, it's like it's Phoenix.
It was in Phoenix.
My bad. But like I just feel like the moment was so big for the Texas. It almost like it changed how UCLA almost practically dominated to certain points. I saw some of it, but seeing how UCLA played, it was like they're on a mission. I mean, same for Texas, but something about Texas, it was just like I don't know the history of like when they were last time they were in this stage going this far, but it seems like just the excitement was almost overwhelming for them, and it's almost like pretty much UCLA outmatched them, which is a bit surprising to Texas the way their season turned out. It just felt like, they could go all the way. But something about that stage, it felt like the moment was too big, and UCLA kind of like just took them in. I mean, both teams were focused, no, not going to lie. It just seemed like UCLA felt like a little more prepared, like they were focused. And it's just with Texas, they played well, but it seems there was so much excitement. You could think of March, of course, they go with your bracket brain. People might have Texas all the way, so there's that. But something about that matchup just felt like it was going to be UCLA no matter what. Do you agree?
Honestly, before I say anything, that game was an ugly game. Like,
yeah,
that was an ugly game. Like, this game wasn't a high scoring game or anything. This was pretty much a dogfight game, ugly dogfight game, and apparently Texas beat UCLA in earlier in the season. So so that I mean I'm sure all the UCLA players and coaching staff knew this was their revenge game, and luckily it was in Phoenix, which is probably like a five hour trip driving distance from UCLA to Phoenix. Um, but shout out to UCLA, they hold it on, and I mean it wasn't the best, it wasn't a high scoring game as you expect the other teams would, but they did their thing. Lauren Beth did her thing. Gabrielle Hawkins did her thing. John Neekin did her thing. Kiki Rice did her thing. Like the whole the players that step on the court for UCLA did their contribution to that win. So obviously the coach Corey Cross she did I guess fantabulous job for UCLA, and they held Texas best player Madison Booker to like 3 of like 20 something,
Yeah, something like that. I saw that.
something like that. That was they pretty much played great defense there.
Like
So
I thought, okay, Texas UCLA. This is going to be fist fight, ding ding ding. But I was just like the way it ended. I'm like, okay, was the excitement too big for Texas? They just couldn't. They're enjoying the moment more than the game itself. I mean, they're a hell of a good team, seeing through their season, but it just felt like, as I was saying before, it just felt like did they just get outplayed by UCLA, or were they not focused? I don't even know because it looked ugly from the start. I hate to say.
the thing is, they kept pressing UCLA and they kept getting turnovers off the press, and just the fact that they just couldn't capitalize off their turnovers is like demoralizing to me. To like, usually if you're forcing that many turnovers, that's how you win games. Like people, like a lot of people say defense wins championships, and apparently that term did not work in their favor. So like, I mean, honestly, Lauren Betts had a huge block on Madison Booker, but that kind of sealed the momentum for UCLA. So yeah, I mean, but congrats to UCLA on that win, and obviously, they won the whole thing. So,
So
but
Jack, I don't know if you've seen at least like I saw some of it, but I don't know if you've seen the final score. If you saw it, were you like kind of in shocked, or what's your thoughts?
For the
The
championship
UCLA,
or the
UCLA,
Texas
Texas.
UCLA?
UCLA, Texas.
Well,
We'll get to the
I mean, let's see, 51-44. I mean, it was mainly just a poor shooting performance by Texas. Like, for example, number 35, Madison
Madison
Booker,
Booker.
shot 3 of 23. That's not going to get you anywhere. 0 for 4 on threes. This was a bad. I've always heard the saying, like, it's one of those days where you have a bad game. Well, bad day to have a bad game. You cannot have a bad game if you're going to be in the tournament. But also, Cunningham, 0 points at 13 minutes is atrocious. Crump, dump Crump, might as well. 5 points at 29 minutes. Just Texas all around did not play well. This should have actually been much, much worse than what the score says.
So it's not
Like,
the ref's fault. Not the ref's fault.
honestly, UCLA should have won by at least like 15. So
They play like they can.
that's the only thing I kind of like saved. Well, the only thing I kind of saved Texas a little bit is their bench. Before, like, who put up like, well, 2 girls put up 16 points. Meanwhile, your entire starting lineup couldn't get a damn thing going. No one scored even the entire. That old Acre, I think her last name is. She scored 11. No one else scored double-digit points. So you're not going to win. Meanwhile, UCLA, almost their entire starting lineup scored 10+ points, except for one Legger Walker, 0 points at 29 minutes. God, you're the starter. That's crazy. And you only took 3 shots in 29 minutes? That's like Podziemski numbers. Oh my god! These are college girls, so they have time to figure themselves out.
She's a point guard. I mean, she's a
Before they try
fast
to get
first
to the
point.
NBA, before they try to get to like the WNBA. So
Like,
this
what-
should have been a blowout.
looking at these team stats, Texas 20 for 65, while UCLA only made 18 out of 44.
Yeah, but they have made 2 more threes than they did.
Yeah, 4 for 13 and 2 for 9. Free throws 11 for 12. They just got a line.
And another thing is UCLA is extremely careless with the ball. You turn the ball over like 23 times. Meanwhile, Texas only turned it over 12 times. You still lost.
I know, like as Drew
These
mentioned.
are this. Did you guys go? No. You guys didn't go to this game, right? This
We're
is
not.
No.
We're not. Let's try. Yeah, we traveled.
because I would if I were a Colts fan, I would have hated to have gone to this game because this is just like a
I drove to
piss me
Phoenix.
off type game.
But yeah, like looking at the fouls, 16 of 12. The largest lead was 13. Texas had had only a 2-point lead. Just looking at the stats here. Yeah, as Drew mentioned, 14 steals. And you only, I mean, if you even check the, like, trying to see if I can
Like,
get
the main areas I look at are points and how many minutes you played. This Walker girl scored 0 points in 20 minutes and only shot the ball 3 times. Sure, she got the rebounds and assists, but then she got the turnovers and the fouls. That's not a good game for her. This was a bad game by Texas, actually, entirely, from the moment of tip-off.
I don't know, like UCLA 14 the first, Texas only held at 6, and then Texas win the core with 11. So
Well, no, she plays for UCLA basketball.
it was 24 to.
Worst player of the
18.
game, though, is Madison Booker.
And
I'm not gonna lie.
and she's the best player for Texas. That's a
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that sounds like a white girl's name. I didn't expect her to be like.
Well, let's talk about a player that's like probably the best female center in college, and that is Betts.
She played like a Jamarcus Russell type game. Bad.
Are you sure? 16,
Are you sure?
11 rebounds. I mean, not only that, the game we went to,
she had 23 and like 12 or something.
she was held. Like
Maybe you guys should have flown to Phoenix. Maybe you should have done better in front of y'all.
in that game, she was held to not even like 10 points. Like she didn't even broke 10. She was like completely
points.
held in check.
Yeah, like 4
Until,
points or something.
until like the late third and the fourth, and then she just took over. I don't know if she's a prospect for the WNBA. As you know, the WNBA is expanding to 3 more teams. As we got Portland, we got the Portland Flames, Fire, which is actually an old WNBA team, and then we got the Toronto, got a WNBA team, and then we know about the
Tempo.
Connecticut Sun going to Houston to become another old franchise.
Houston, I don't know.
Houston team, but I just thought to share that, just sticking with the women's sports. But let's get to the championship real quick before we get to a one that Jack does not like, apparently. But before that, just going back to, because I know in our last episode we were talking about Gino, thinking, because this guy did a lot, he's like, I want to say like the Greg Popovich of college, but I don't know. But if he's been doing it for a long time, and I just feel like I wanted to ask, could this be the last? If not, how long you think you'll coach? So let us know for people watching this later and ones watching it now. If you know the name, you see what he's done, you feel like how it ended, you feel like he should keep going. If so, how long? So let us know. But you guys, you think, is this the end? Or you think, how long you guys think he can coach for?
I think he'll coach for 2 more years.
2 more years?
Yeah, I think he's going to keep wanting to coach. He's going to want to stick it in that Staley coaches, one.
All right.
Because if I were like, I don't care how successful of a coach I'd be, and if like, I just want to go after her just to keep going.
Yeah, I would say like maybe 2, maybe 4 years max. I want to say.
I would say 2 for me, honestly.
I'd say 2 to 4 range. But all right, let's get to probably the most impactful WrestleMania Super Bowl basketball edition game. Michigan try Michigan preventing a dynasty for UConn as Michigan wins it.
When was the last time Michigan won the championship?
1989.
9.
There you
1989.
go. 1989.
Since 1989, Michigan has finally got an NCAA title in basketball sports as they win at 69-63. And I don't know about you guys. This is why you love March Madness, because when they attack the paint, it's almost like you're watching 19, like even though we weren't of course born, but the people that will know, it's like you're almost watching like MJ era of NBA where people are just literally getting whiplash almost. Because it feels like anyone that attacked the paint, you just feel like someone's going to like clothesline or like tackle, because like it was so intense.
It was so physical.
Back and forth. It was like the most physical game I think we might have seen. I mean, we've seen a lot in our time watching sports, but this one was crazy. And I'm happy to be a Michigan fan to witness it, because it's almost like it's not like the Milwaukee Bucks, because that's a huge time gap, but it almost felt like that. We had the late 80s to now, and who knows how long further, because the coach for Michigan, 2 years. It only took him 2 to change that program to back to the winning hands. And congrats to Michigan, and hell of a run for UConn. I know they were trying to build a dynasty. Maybe the NCAA doesn't want that anymore.
Oh yeah, they made sure of that.
They make sure of that.
They made sure of it, all right.
So before Jack gets on his tangent, Drew, what are your thoughts?
Before I say my thoughts, first of all, congrats to Michigan. Obviously, fantastic season. Honestly, congrats. Honestly, UConn had a successful season, and apparently, honestly, Dusty Mann, he's a hell of a coach. Apparently, if I can remember, while I was watching the Michigan Arizona game, a report said they practiced at the big house to deal with the perception of playing like a big football team. That's that's another topic that people that's another topic that people are actually talking about, because people think they should play in NBA arenas, the Final Four should be NBA arenas, all that. But I'm not gonna talk about that now. But they said they practice in big house for perception of playing a football stadium. So that was kind of smart of him. And apparently he was also scouting the UConn Illinois game, like in person. So
I feel like when a coach does that, it's like he just knows he's going to win the next game anyway. He's just going to see what he's going to try to see what the weakness is.
Like that's the definition of locking in. Like I mean
that I know we didn't get our March Madness. It's been hard to reach to them. We would like to share their thoughts, but I can't. I understand why they don't. I mean, they would have joined me out of good spirit, but of course, how their team went out, it was a shocker for all of us. I'm like, all right, this is the most impactful game. I was high. I'm like, what the hell did we just witness?
Yeah. So, but honestly, it was a physical game throughout the whole game, the whole championship game. But honestly, people say the refs, but Michigan just kind of, I guess, outplay UConn. UConn kind of like slowed them down, like got them out of the rhythm.
Here's a statistic. Jesus, try to say that word 10 times over. This is statistic I found. Do you know UConn's undefeated? They hold a team under just under 60, or at least in the 60s. They were undefeated in that category. And I was like, when I read that, I was like, all right, see how you do with Michigan. I mean, they did the best they can. It was just pretty much, Jack had his rant coming up shortly for people that are tuning in. He has something to say. Even, and I quote, he said that was part of the worst game he ever seen. So let him share his spiel with that. But But shoot, I lost my train of thought. But Drew, resume.
Yeah, honestly, it's a physical game throughout the whole game, and just back and forth throughout honestly, just the whole game itself. It's just back and forth, just old gritty game, no 3 pointers, not a lot. Actually, UConn made a lot more threes, but for Michigan, they didn't make a lot of threes. But but they made the threes that mattered, especially oh, we all thought UConn's gonna at least make it a little bit more closer when they had like
I
a
mean,
flash.
overall, if you look at the score, it was pretty close. I mean, it was practically close until we'll get to it. But I mean, there's one I do agree that should have Jesse would have joined us. I would agree with you say if you guys saw the game, if you know what I'm talking about, of a certain
call,
call that definitely should have. That call was like, all right, is it going to continue to double overtime, or we're going to just call it quit? Just call it, make this call just to wrap it up. But anyway, yeah. I mean, if we just look at the stats, team stats here, I mean, held under 40%, 2 for 15 in threes. I mean, Michigan known to make threes. That was mainly one of their strong suits. 13%, a free throw, 25 for 28 to 12 to 16. So I mean, they pretty much. I mean, there was fouls. Like I felt like it was like the Royal Rumble in ways. Like I feel like almost all the players on that team could have been fouled out. It could have happened,
Yeah, and even the best player was not playing 100%. He still gutted out for his team.
Argus Lee was 11. I mean, what a game!
And that was a great game, though.
That was a great game. But we have someone here that has otherwise, not just me as a UConn fan, but he likes
just a sports fan.
He likes fair refs, we could say. So Jack,
stir the pot.
This might have been one of the worst refereed games I've ever seen in my life. I've been going to see like NBA games. Recently went to one with the Brooklyn Nets against the Wizards. The Brooklyn Nets won that game. I've even gone to like some college basketball games. I remember my first college basketball game was actually in the Maui Invitational. Notre Dame was actually in that tournament, but I don't remember who they were playing against. But I want you to understand how bad it was. So I watched the game last night, and congrats to Michigan. After 37 years, finally won a championship. Feels great. Congrats to them. I'm not discrediting them for. I was a Notre Dame fan. I don't really like Michigan, but that's more of in football. But okay, these refs have to be working for Michigan because the amount of foul calls that I saw that should have been against Michigan should have been in like the 30s. I noticed like early in the game, UConn's the ball guy on UConn, who was like one of their best players, and you force him to foul extremely, extremely early. I saw fouls. Two of them shouldn't have been fouled at all. So if he plays like he doesn't play like instead of playing 16 minutes, he plays like 30 or 35 minutes. UConn wins this game very, very easy. So the refs forced them to get out. I'm looking at the stats here. So UConn made 21 shots, but then Michigan also made 21 shots. Like the shot differential is UConn had 13 more shot attempts versus what Michigan had. Michigan only has scored 2 threes all game. That's 2 more threes than me, than Amon, and Drew. And 2 of 15, horrible shooting threes. And that's one of their strong suits of the entire season, of Michigan's entire year. They've been the best team at that. But UConn made 9 threes out of 30. First off, UConn shooting 33 threes is way too many. And honestly, it shows them that they're like college kids, because college kids are going to shoot a shit ton of threes because they think they're Steph Curry and all this other stuff. But I usually have this quote, like I just mentioned to you when I was talking about the women's. Whoever has the most rebounds usually wins the game. Right, guys?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So UConn out-rebounded them 46-39. And they passed better than them. You pretty much turned over the same, except you forced the guy to foul out. First off, 22 points in 21 minutes is atrocious. And 17 points in 40 minutes is atrocious, but he had a double-double. Two guys on UConn had a double-double. Meanwhile, one guy, Johnson Jr. is like a maniac when he rebounds. He should have been fouled out in the first 5 minutes of the game. And Lendenberg wasn't even healthy, and yet he still finished with like 13 and 36 minutes, and you can't do that? Come on, man. So now here's where I start to get a little pissed off. So UConn shot 12 free throws out of 16. The refs decided to give Michigan an entire VIP section at the free throw line, going 25 of 28 on free throws. If UConn has those same numbers, Michigan still gets blown out. Ball scores at least like 15. You got 25. That's a 10-point loss for Michigan. It's just, and some of the foul calls that I saw, because I actually stopped watching this game once the foul calling started to get horrendous. I saw a dude get smacked in the arm like this, and it happened right in front of the ref, and he doesn't say a damn word. I'm really concerned that Michigan bribed their way to victory, just like South Carolina did with UCLA. If they use the same refs in the same game and they brought it to like that, then that makes 100% sense. Because UConn should have won this game. The refs made it unfair for UConn to play in this game because you force the guy, one of the best guys, to foul out and keep him on the bench almost the entire game. It's not what you're supposed to do. I don't give a damn if you're I don't care if you're in high school, your college, the pros. Like, you just don't, you just do that and it just ruins the game. The refs ruin the game of basketball. They've been doing it for the past like 10 years now, I would say. Because you used to be more aggressive and they wouldn't call a damn thing. Like I remember I saw Kareem punch a dude in the face and he still stayed in the game. Crazy.
Well, that was then.
Yeah, but that was then. But I mean, it's just Michigan should have had. Okay, hold on. So Johnson Jr. should have fouled down. Cadeau should have fouled down. These guys shouldn't have been called like.
I was going to say this is like
where I would see like offensive basket interference. He stepped out of bounds. That was a travel. That was a carry. That was a double dribble. I just saw all these calls, and none of them happened to the team that your shirt that you're wearing. Didn't happen to them once. They should be investigated once again, and UConn was robbed of that championship. And if they come back next year and they'll win the damn championship, then, God. Because these refs seriously got to be investigated. Because 22 fouls for a college team is unnatural. I don't know if you guys know that. The average is like 15. Called foul for 22 like personal fouls called in the game. I've just never seen. This is and honestly, this is why I don't watch college basketball. I only watch it when it's March Madness. But when I don't watch it for a damn thing. It is just NBA, and that's it.
Well, I mean, the NBA, well, if we want to talk about that, the NBA nowadays, it feels like you need to flick your finger at someone's nose, that's a foul. If you, lightly touch touch someone's jersey is like almost like germophobic, and it's like foul. If you whack your head backwards like you're about to hurt your herniated disc or about to break your neck, it's a foul. Like, all right, no, all right. So we're done with college. Just a little extra
I saw
here.
this Johnson Jr. kid perform multiple assassinations, and he didn't get caught for anything.
Well, speaking of the NBA now, so as you know, Drew and I, we went to the game. We didn't plan it, but it just happened all of a sudden. And
Yeah.
exciting game. Warriors got the win. Kings. There was some speculation of some tanking method, but we'll just do that for another time. But this, you want to talk about fouls? Killian Hayes was getting guarded by Pajensky. I don't even know if it was a foul, but it's like I don't know if he went for a steal or what. But as soon as like Pod was trying to, I think it was a steal. But as soon as you go to the steal, you see like Hayes kind of whack his head back, like like a James Harden move.
Oh my God, that was
A lot of NBA players use
Dude,
that
that
as
was-
the advantage. Heck, like when Curry, Drew, remember all those? Do you feel like those threes Curry made? Some of them shouldn't have been and ones, even though it was amazing.
yeah, exactly.
You see
Yeah,
the highlights, you're like, well, that's not really a foul, but it's amazing, It's Curry.
it was a foul.
I mean, well, at least some parts. Like, there's some parts of, like, I guess safety rules. But I just think I just feel like when it comes to college, sure, I know what we saw with women's and men's. Sure, I get it. But if you watch it, you can see when refs will know it's a foul or not. Cause it's chaotic. I mean,
like Jack mentioned, UConn shot 33. That's kind of that's a lot, and like, I mean, it's like comparing to the Warriors, like when they shoot a lot of threes, or a team like the Lakers, like they take a lot of points, they attack the basket like Michigan did in this entire game. So that's kind of like, I guess, some effect. Like, what am I? If you're going to shoot a lot of threes, like I'm like, there's shot selection. I didn't like. I get it, it was a good look and stuff, but like I feel like some of the shot selections UConn had was not really good. Not to lie.
speaking of the Warriors, they've been playing right now. We got a comment here,
Oh, what's the comment?
and it's Jesse. Jesse saying us hello, saying congrats to Michigan. Did not think it was going to happen. All right.
I mean, they've been playing. Michigan's kind of show why they're one of the best team in the country throughout the whole season.
I mean, remember, it took 2 years, then took 5, then took 12. It only took 2 years to flip a program that hasn't won since the 80s. And in case if you guys saw the telecast, the Fab Five was doing some commentating in that. So, well, they're doing the Arizona game. I'm not sure they did the championship.
They did the Arizona. I think they only
Going
did
to the Arizona one?
Yeah.
But the Fab Five were there. So, I mean, that's the gap of when they had a shot like this. So, it's congrats to Michigan.
Yeah, shout out to the refs, huh?
Say that too.
Because they are the real heroes in this.
And Jesse, you're saying Dubs down.
He's talking about the Warriors game that's happening right now.
All right, the Warriors are down by 10. I know Curry and LeBron aren't playing. So,
Luka, no reason, still down by double digits.
yeah, Luka out for the year with that injury. Well,
Yeah, I mean, like playoffs is coming. Like, not playoffs, but like the play-in is about to come in like on Tuesday when it starts. So,
yeah, we have to
Yeah.
see if the Warriors, see if they can try to host a play-in at least, try to avoid the 9-10 sequence.
they'll most likely just be staying to 10. So
'Cause right now it's Suns, Clips, us with the Blazers. So the Wolves are avoiding the play-in.
I just don't want us to play the Blazers because they give us trouble every time we play them. I don't know. Something with them this season. They've been, especially with, like Jack mentioned last episode, with Daniel Avdia. It's like how can we guard him without fouling him? Like I don't know.
What is a foul nowadays in the NBA?
Yeah, but
Well, without further ado, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hopefully, we get both Jesse will return. Let's get back together. So we have the draft. So stick around. Enjoy the weekend.